I'm genuinely addicted to my phone. I know this. My screen time on TikTok will be like, this week you spend 38 hours on TikTok, and it'll be like 2% less than last week. And I'll just look at it and be like, damn, I guess it's 2% better than last week, but it's still pretty bad. Like, it's so terrible. And it's like, if that's my screen time on TikTok alone, what is my screen time altogether? And I don't even like looking at my screen time, because my screen time just like hits me. It just hits me like, yo. So you're telling me in 7 days of my week, I spend 2 full days scrolling on TikTok? What do you even mean by that? What do you actually even mean by that? Like, oh, is you dumb? Like, is you stupid? That's how I feel. And it's like I'm just in a cycle where I'm like, I'm on TikTok because it's my job, it's social media, it's where I get money, it's, you know, how I make my money. But it's also like, not every time that I'm doom scrolling for that long am I doing work on TikTok. Like, literally, like, it's really not that. And I always make these excuses for myself to just like sit in bed and just rot and just like look at the screen. And one thing that's been on my mind lately that I saw, I forgot what it's called, but this guy was talking about these entities that used to be channeled through black screens, and how those black screens were basically like a channeling for like how demons would express themselves. And I say demons, quote unquote, because to me a demon is just anything that wants to suck your life force, your energy. And it's so interesting how our cell phones are screens. And the fact that I'm talking to a screen right now doesn't even make it any better. But it's so interesting how I think these things evolve with technology, they evolve with how we are evolving. So it's like things that would attack people in different ways, say 100 years ago, 200 years ago, now attack us in different ways. And a lot of that is this. Now, I'm not saying like phones are like a terrible tool to have device. Like, phones are amazing. Phones like changed my whole perspective on life. Like, having a cell phone really opened my mind, but I don't know if I can say it's done enough good to balance out the bad. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say I've gained more from having a phone than I've lost from having a phone. I do feel like I've lost a lot from just being addicted to this device and constantly looking at it and taking in what everybody else has to say. And I don't know, man. And it's so hard because I'm aware that every time I hop on my phone, I am feeding into some kind of indoctrination. I am reprogramming my mind, but it's also like I just can't let it go. And I think the thing about a phone addiction is that it doesn't feel like an addiction. Like, there's addictions that don't feel like addictions. For example, coffee. We've normalized drinking coffee. Like, you drink coffee every day. Like, it's just a part of your routine. Checking your phone is a part of your routine. Constantly being on your phone is a part of your routine. And it's hard because on one hand I'm like, I want to be a creator, I want to grow, I want to, do all of this. And with that, it's like consistency, consistency, consistency. You have to be consistent. You constantly have to be putting yourself out there, meaning you constantly need to be on this black screen, on this shrine, so to speak. And it's like, this shrine is taking up so much of my life, but I still convince myself I need it. Like, I still convince myself I'm nothing without it, because if you think about it, most things that you need to do in this day and age to just get about your normal day, you need a phone. Like, if everyone in your life has a phone and communicates through a phone, you then need a phone. If you want to get a job, you need a phone to like look at the jobs that you need. If you want to start a business, you need a phone so you can promote your business. It's just like, no matter how much you want to escape, you just can't, because you need this device to have anything and everything working. And so it's so annoying that, like, this device that we are supposed to use, I guess I'd say to better our lives, now becomes this thing that we're now addicted to, this thing that all these companies are like fighting for seconds and minutes and hours of our attention, which they're clearly getting a lot of mine, right? It's like you'll just scroll and scroll and it will never stop. Like it will never be like, Chelsea, take a break. And even if you set aside those timers to be like, yeah, after 30 minutes I'll be off my phone. When the timer comes on, I literally just say okay and keep doom scrolling. Girl, what? What? And then part of me is like, okay, maybe I just don't have enough things to do in the day. That's why I'm always on this device. So now I give myself an excuse to be like, no, but you're always on your phone because, like, you genuinely have nothing else to do. But that's not true. I have sewing projects that I need to get to. I've been postponing doing a stop motion animation for like the past full year, and I have the time. But where am I spending my time? Here, being addicted. And yeah, I don't even know I'm making this video because I know it's probably not gonna change. Like, I'll just probably keep the cycle going, as aware as I like to claim to be. I don't think I'm bigger than the program just because I have a bit of awareness, you know. Awareness does go a long way, but it's like, what's knowledge without action, without implementation? So yeah, man, I don't even know. I don't even know. I just wish I can like restructure my life so that it's not so centered around these devices. Um yeah, I spent like my whole day attached to this thing, and I think that's not okay at all. I'll be washing dishes, I need something to listen to. Cleaning the house, I need a podcast. I need something in the background because I genuinely cannot be caught with a thought of mine for a split second. I cannot. I simply cannot. And I think a phone is just such a great escape because it's right here. You have access to Wi Fi 24 hours a day. It's here. It's literally here. I don't need to go out of my way to get a phone. Like, you know, with certain drugs, you need to go out of your way. You have to like call the plug, must pay. Ila, it's here. I don't need to do anything. And so because it's always in my face, and I also don't take the necessary measures to like nurture, I must say nature, to nurture other aspects of my life, it now just becomes like this thing that's just like a thing. And now, because it's part of my routine, my mind expects this dopamine hits every, like, you know, yeah, it's just tough. It really is just tough because, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy my phone so much. And like I said, I'm so grateful for all the things that it has brought to me. But in the same breath, I could have saved a lot had I not had a phone. Would I feel FOMO? Absolutely. I would feel left out. I remember there was a year where I went like that full year without a phone, almost the whole year. And obviously, it wasn't by choice, but it just like, it was really tough, man, because I had to confront myself. I had to confront the boredom. I had to confront the silence. I had to confront every single aspect of my life, and that was hard. That was hard because when you're bored, you can't just reach out to your phone and immediately get a dopamine hit and like forget about the thing that was stressing you out all day. Like, that was tough, but I needed that, and I was so glad. I think now, looking back, I'm glad that I had people in my life that care enough about me to be okay to watch me suffer for a certain period for my betterment. And at the time, I never saw it like that. At the time, it was just like, bruh, you're holding me back from my life. And, Lord knows. It's so crazy because so much good can come from social media, from the internet. And in the same breath, so much bad can come from it. And I've experienced like both sides of the spectrum. But like the lows are like really low. Like the lows are like extremely low. But the highs are like, okay, like the highs aren't too bad. And yeah, I don't know. I just wish one day I can come to like a balance where I'm not just addicted to my phone and just like, you know, where I have like a full life and like things to do and like friendships, events to be at, things to actually nurture, you know. And I feel like because I don't have that, it's just so easy for me to like grab this thing. If I feel lonely, I'll just grab my phone, text a friend. And I think the thing about phones, it like gives you this fake sense of connection. Like, yes, you're connected, but it's like you don't talk to people in real life every day. Like you don't see your friends every day, but you get to talk to them, which is pretty cool. But I don't know, and I don't want to do anything drastic like, oh, I went a month without a phone, or I went 365 days. Like, no, I don't want to do any of that because I need my phone. Um, but I do want to not spend as much time as I do. That I do want. And I don't know if I want it enough right now to like actually change something about that. Because I'm sure we all have things we want. We all want $1 million. We all want like a fancy car. We all want these things. But how badly do you want it? How far are you willing to go? And I don't think I'm willing to go as far as I would need to right now. So I don't know why I say this to say anything really, but yeah, your phone addiction is probably killing you, and it's important that you check yourself and you check that and you check what you're feeding your mind, because that stuff goes deep, it goes far, and it goes hard. And I would know. I can laugh, but I would know. I really would know. So, yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it there and hopefully something can be done.